Hello, 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 and welcome to Broke as a Joke. I'm your host, Mr. Squirrel Brown, and we got our special guest in the building, Dr. Ron Smith, and we got the average family man on the show, SKST Radio, live and direct. Um, Today, we're coming to you with a topic about rich people loaning money, and are they entitled to say no? So So, guys, go ahead and take it away, and let's get started on this topic.
You can
So,
go ahead, Doc.
okay,
Well,
so
here's the thing. You know, I have probably got a couple of years in the game, and I've seen it go sideways, and I've seen it done the righteous way too. So I'm at the stage right now, whether it's family or friend, if I can't give it to you, I don't want to loan it. And from my past experience, is that let me tell you the reason why I say that at this stage in my life. One of the things that I used to look for, I used to look at the talent in people, basically, the movers and shakers and that sort of thing, you know, not necessarily they maybe don't have it, but they on the come up because I know I can predict that, hey, this person will be able to pay me back, et cetera, et cetera. But right now, I'm going with character. If you if you are faithful in the small things, you're gonna be faithful in the big things. So right now, I don't look at basically, your talent. I look at your character. If your character present to me that basically you're trustworthy and you can, you're a person that I know that I can depend on and to give it back. And that's point number one. Point number two is that in the past, I have extended myself, which means knowing me, I have loaned some money to people that actually belong to something else. So if I can't give it to you, I've learned not to give that money to people who matter of fact, I'm in that situation right now. People who who haven't paid me back yet, and time, it's a medium sum of money, but my point is that at least you can say, hey, let me give you 500 here, 500 there, and we at least you're trying. I got some people that don't even talk about a payment plan. So I'm at the point right now. If I can't give it to you, then is no deal. So
I
what
mean,
you what you
I can understand that. I really, have seen a lot of that back and forth, and I myself, I'm one of those people that, because of the way that I feel about loaning people money, sometimes I forget that $100 to me may not be that same $100 to the next person. So so in my mind, like, okay, it's just $100 or it's just $20, that other person may be sitting back waiting for that actual, $100 or $20. And my thing is like this: if you give a date and a time that you say you're gonna pay it back, then pay it back. Um, if you able to loan it and you one of those people that loan it, like you said, it's like, don't loan something that's gonna put you in a hole and you
yeah.
actually need it. You know what I mean? So I mean, just because you have it doesn't mean you have it to loan. So
Well, here's another thing. I'm not going to sweat over $100, but when you get a couple of $1,000, then that's the money I'm talking about.
right. Well, okay. Let me get your information because let me.
Right. He don't know he on broke as a joke.
Hey, it's broke as a joke now. Like I don't need 1,000, but a couple hundred will do me. Like, so Roy, where you at on that, man?
Well, I mean, I understand that character matters, But when it comes to money, I mean, if somebody needs something, I mean, how much does their character have to matter if they need something? If they need something and they got bad character, they need something for their kid. Well, I mean, are you going to lend it to them? Or are you going to give it to them? It all depends on what they need the money for. But my perspective on that is that okay? I also understand about lending money, how it's hard to kind of chase people down to get it back. So it's just better to give it away. But in that instance, what I'm saying is, if you got it to give it to them, why it got to be a reason as to why you're not gonna give it to them? Just give them the money if you can afford to give it to them. If you can't afford to give it to them, then you can't afford it. But there is, in my mind, if you can afford it, there is no good enough why you shouldn't give it to them. That's why I'm coming from on.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in on it. Like some people are just not giving people. You know what I mean? You got some people that give and will give everything and to a certain extent, and at some point it factors into, well, you know, if I loaned it to you, that mean that, regardless, even with him saying the character of the person, yeah, I'm not just giving anybody my money, So that's where I think he coming from with the character thing. Just
Yeah, I
like
get that.
anybody, and any can't just anybody call me and say, "Hey man, loan me $1,000." Like
Right.
work lunch, $2, $3, $5, a piece of chicken, or something like that. I'm not even loaning you that. Like, here, take this $5 and whatever. If you give, just so happen to, excuse me, give it back to me when we go to lunch another time, or buy me a drink another time, then that's fine. But sometimes I feel like if somebody asks you for something in a sense and it's continuous to the point to where it's like, okay, I've been giving, and you never make an effort to return the money, then that becomes a problem. And you have to be able to identify those type of people. And a lot of times when you loaning money, some people you have to be specific with. You have to say, I'm gonna give you this back at this time, or I need this back at that time. Because if you don't, some people, like me myself, I've been one of those people. Broke is a joke. That's no lie. I've been one of those people to where I feel like, hey, I'm just gonna straight up tell you, like, man, I don't have no money. I'm broke. I can't deal with that right now. And you
Yeah.
send me, $20, $30, or $50. I'm not thinking like, hey, I better be in a hurry to pay them back, because you didn't say, like, man, look, here go this $20, $30, but I need this back by, this date and that date and the other. So sometimes
Yeah.
you have those giving people, you have those people that's able to say, okay, I got it, I'm just gonna give it to you. And then you have those people that's been burned. It's like they gave $1,000
I,
here, $500 here. They've never received a, hey, I'm gonna pay you back little by little. I'm gonna pay you back next month when my child support.
yeah.
None of that. They just been 86. Like, you disappeared and they ain't never heard from you again. So
I agree with that. I understand what you're saying with that, but what I'm saying is that if you have it. Now, in those instances, if you don't have it, you can't lend it to somebody, right? If you don't have it. Now, if you have somebody, now granted, you can't let somebody make a fool of you. I'm not talking about the repeat offenders. I'm not talking about the extreme circumstances. I'm more along talking about the once the person who had never came to you before, or maybe somebody who's coming to you for the second time. I'm not even talking about somebody that's asking for the third time. Only on somebody that's asking on the first or the second time that I'm speaking of, that you should need a good enough reason as to not give it to them if you got it. If you don't have it, then that's one thing. I understand that, because you can't give somebody something that you don't have. But
well,
in the instance that they're asking for a dollar amount, and that's something that that if you give it to them, it's not going to hurt you anything, and it'll help them more than it's going to hurt you. That's in the instance where I'm saying that one should have, in my opinion, a charitable disposition, and that's how I think of it. Because you never know when you're gonna need a blessing in your life. So the more that you could bless somebody else, that may come back on you. And then if you never need it again, then oh well, you'll still have that goodwill backed up to spare. But my whole thing is that in the instance that I thought of this, with Jay-Z as being a billionaire, a billion, that is a lot. That's a large sum of money, which means that you got to have at least, you know, 3 or 400 million liquid, in cash. So if I got 300 million cash, if I don't care what relative it is, they ask me for $4,800, I'm gonna give it to them. Even if they pay me back, even if they don't pay me back, because you know that's the difference between having it and not having it.
Well,
So how I got it got me holding on to it till I can't even spare somebody 4,800, which is less than 1% of what I have. Then what I got all this money for? I can't take it with me when I die. I can't buy that much while I'm alive. So that's my take on it.
well, I mean, look, you seem like you're a giving person, and God bless you. But at the same time,
I ain't
and
gonna say all that. I'm saying if I had it to give.
well, if I had it to give, I'm a giving person. I do what I can for people when it's possible. I give them my last $2. But at the same time, you have to analyze the person that you're giving this money to. You give $4,800 to a crackhead, and he go in OD. How you gonna sleep at night? Would that bother?
Yeah, I don't think I would do that.
Oh, see, but no, knowingly, you wouldn't do that.
Right, knowingly, that's right.
Yeah, you only hear what the person said. That person said, "Oh, he wouldn't give me $4,800, and he a billionaire." And he said I wouldn't give him. Maybe he didn't want to put his business out there, or whatever the case may be, to make it, put him on blast and saying that he's this or he's that. Then maybe he's been one of those people that's been trying these businesses, or been trying to get money from them, or continually trying to get that money, or whatever the case may be. But it's it's one of those things where you have to be a good judge of character, regardless of whether you got the money or not, because you may be setting not only that person up, but you setting yourself up for failure. Because, like I said, if you give that man money to where he goes and do something unworldly with it, then how are you going to sleep at night? And that's just
But
one. That's just one
that's
person. That's just $4,800.
yeah, but like I said, that's back in an extreme circumstance. I'm saying on the average, everyday person, somebody that has a job, they have a family, somebody that is has a stable living environment. Under those circumstances,
Okay, so
under the
how many relatives do you think you have?
how many relatives do I think I have?
Relatives. How many can you count?
Uh, I mean, all of them that got my last name.
Okay, so how many
That's it. The rest of them I ain't claiming.
how many relatives does it take to borrow $4,800 before that start hurting that 300 million in liquid that you have? I mean, how many people are you going to actually loan money to until you say no?
Well, that would depend on how much money I have.
I'm
To be
telling you,
honest,
you got 300 million, and somebody.
okay, if all I got is 300 million,
Mhm.
then that means all I can really give away is probably about 25. I can give away 25. If
So,
I got 300 in cash, I'm willing to give away 25. Not even trying to invest, not even trying to make no return over. I'm willing to get out of the way.
that's that's what's up. So you don't know how much he probably already done did his blessings and made his giveaways prior to that $4,800, and he's saying, "All right, man, I'm not giving it to you. I'm done."
Nah, that ain't what he said. That ain't what he said.
Well,
But I
one of the
understand. I understand what you're getting at, but that ain't what he said.
What you got, doctor?
I just saw the headlines. I didn't read the whole article about that situation. And only thing that I need to add is that basically, you, if it was a family member, that's one of the things that you probably would go a little above and beyond. But if it
Mm-hmm.
was just one of your friends or a dude that know you, and know that you have money, that and maybe another consideration. But $4,800 for a family member, I don't think that would be, uh, especially if it's for a need that you are aware of. Like
Thank you, Doc.
I think the average fam said basically, if you know this guy got kids and you know they're kind of struggling, and you know what the situation is,
if you have it,
that's a no-brainer.
Yeah, but you gotta have it though. You can't put yourself in a bad spot trying to help somebody. Now I don't agree with that.
Right. So and see, and that's the thing. To just add on to the supposedly, he gave this person the $4,800, and he see this guy, driving something or wearing some clothes, some designer clothes, or he see the situation wasn't taken care of. And it's to me, I'm quite sure this person wasn't not the first time he asked him for money. So I think there might be a little history with this individual. So there's some people that that you would give your last dollar to,
right?
And without question. And there's some people that even if you have it, you still might be have reservations about giving it up just because your past history of how they dealt with money and how they dealt with you.
Right.
So they ought to not want to be rich then.
No,
that sounds like rich people problems. I ain't never had rich people problems, so
right.
That sounds like a good problem to have. That you got enough money that people just feel like they can just ask you for it all the time. I ain't never had that kind of problem before. Is all I'm saying. I can't relate.
Well, brother, you get the right 6 numbers in the white ball correct.
Oh no, no, I don't gamble. I'm sorry, I don't gamble. Look, I fantasize every day about what I do with the money, but I never buy a ticket. I done bought 2 tickets and I was mad as hell when I lost. I ain't never buying it again.
Well, here's the deal. When I talk to people who play the stock market, and they tell me they don't gamble, and I ask them, "Do you understand what the system is?" That's what Wall Street. That's Wall Street is the biggest gamble of them all.
The Powerball don't pay no dividends.
True. But if you don't know what you're doing with Wall Street, and even if you do, you're really at the mercies of the ones who actually pull in the switch. That's my point. So there's people who think they don't gamble, they are gambling.
Yeah, life is a gamble.
So just because I have it, to me, doesn't obligate me to give it or loan it.
I agree with that.
Right.
But if I understand your situation, and I understand some of the things that you mentioned, some that the person has some debt, some kids, et cetera, that will kind of persuade me more than you just want it.
Yeah, but my thing is, like I said, is having a person should have a charitable disposition no matter how much money you have. And that's the thing that gets me about it, is that, your first thought shouldn't be, why so or why not. I'm saying if you have a certain amount of affluence, then, taking a gamble, so to speak, like you just said, on a relative, it's not that bad of a sacrifice. Even if you're not going to make anything out of it, at least you will have that goodwill that you put forth to somebody else. That's where I'm coming from. That's the point of view that I'm coming from. Helping somebody who is asking for something, if you're in a position to help. Now, if you're not in a position, then I'm not asking you to do that. But if you're in a position to help somebody and it's not going to hurt you, then go ahead and do it. Because you're not going to get hurt regardless of the circumstances, regardless if they're successful or not. You're not going to be hurt. All you've done was you helped somebody when they told you there was a need.
Well, this is not me, but I know people who have grown up probably the same way. A single parent. My mother raised 5 or 6 of us by ourselves, and school of hard knocks. I'm not going to go into all the details with that. And I have some friends who feel that if I made it and I struggle and I press through and I achieve some things, you could do the same thing. Now, that's not the way I feel, but I run into those people all the time. And so sometimes that's the way people feel, that if I did it, you can do it also. Now, I know that the playing field is not level. And just because I made it, maybe that was the window of opportunity was open. And when I went through it, it shut down behind me. I understand that. But you got a lot of people, a lot of brothers that feel that way. If I got it, then you can get it.
Right. And a lot of people do feel that way, but a lot of people don't understand. I mean, what's for you is for you. That's not for the next man. Like, it wasn't meant. If we all could be rich, then who wants to be broke is a joke.
Yeah.
To not have, or not being able to provide, or having
it builds character.
Anything, you know what I'm saying? So it's like with what you're saying, I agree with you on that as well. Like, I'm not one of those people that look at, if I can make it, you can make it. My intellect or my grind or the way that I deal with people is very different than the next man. I don't think that there's another person exactly like me right behind me that can do exactly the same thing that I can do. So I don't tell people, if I can do it. Like, accomplishing things, it comes, you have to put forth an effort, and you have to have that motivation inside of you to continue to accomplish a goal that you set your mind to. Being rich by making an album, or being a basketball player or a football player, all that stuff comes a dime a dozen. That's like whoever controlling that, or whatever they decide to, whatever person that they pick out decide to make rich on what type of music that they make. But being rich or it's not a being successful. It's not just I made it, you can do it. Like, I'm successful in my own right, so you can be successful in your own right. It's a gas station right down the street, which is a 7-Eleven. Some people look down on people that work in the gas station, but right across the street, it's a mall. Everybody can't be the owner of the mall. Somebody has to work in the mall. Somebody has to keep the mall afloat. Somebody has to keep the gas station afloat. So with that being said, the money that's being made is being made up top. Your success comes from being a great manager. You're successful because you made manager, and that's going to be your success for the next 20 years, and you ready to retire. Some people are satisfied with that, and others, they want to own the building. They want to be that successful. So to each his own, and everybody, they have their own thing, their own way of getting by with being successful.
Well, Squirrel, one of the things that I started my podcast with is some of the things I learned about money. And if I know what I know now 30 years ago, I will be a multimillionaire. And part of the things that I try to share with people is that, okay, you're going to ask me for $4,800. I'm going to show you how to use that $4,800 that you would never have to ask anybody else again.
Right.
So that's the kind of guy I am. We always will have levels of success, just like you were saying about 7-Eleven in the mall. But my point is that I think, just like you were saying, everybody can have a level of success. So the whole point of me loaning money now, if you listen to me long enough, I might loan you that $4,800, but I'm going to give you a lesson behind that $4,800 that maybe you can use that money to make some more money. And that's where I'm at with right now. So if you could stand my lesson, then you have to be willing to take my $4,800.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and give you a cut right quick, and we're gonna go into a commercial break and pay the bills with the SKST radio. We'll be back in just a second. Broke as a joke.
Peace.
Hey, we back. Um, we running in and still going about today's show. Broke is a joke. We got special guest Dr. Ron, and we got the average family man on the line. We're talking about when and when not to loan money. Rich, if you can afford it, my boy, the family man say, hey, if you got it, give it. Dr. Ron say, hey, look, I need to see who I'm giving my money to. I'm just not gonna give you my money because you asked for it, you know. So everybody has valid points, and I think that at the end of the day, we're all giving people because at some point we've been in that position before. But at the same time, why do you want my $4,800? Like, what are you trying to do? You trying to buy $4,800 worth of Powerball tickets, hoping you gonna win the Powerball. You know, you're trying to do a business, you're trying to feed somebody, you're trying to get out of jail. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And I feel like circumstantial events calls for circumstantial methods or means to get the money. So me, I'm a person who I wouldn't ask if I didn't need it. If I didn't need it, I wouldn't ask you for it because I'm just that type of person. If I don't have it, I'm gonna tell you I don't have it. Like I don't need to go out and try to stunt and try to make a scene. And I'm not asking you for $4,800 to go to the club and pop no bottles. I'm asking you for $4,800, man. I'm trying to fix my little whip out there, pay these few bills. You know what I'm saying? Do something meaningful with the money. So, everybody got good points, and I think it makes sense, and that conversation is needed for a lot of people because when you rich and you have money, a lot of people expect you to just give. Some people don't expect you to be like, hell no, you can't have it. Why you want it? Like, it's your right. It's your money. You should be able to question who you give it to and why you giving it to them. And don't get mad when somebody tell you no. People tell me no all the time. That ain't going to stop me from asking again. And that ain't going to make me mad because you said no or you don't have it. Shit, I'm going to look. You might not have it this week. Be like, hey, next week I might need it again. Like, hey, man, you got $20. Like, nah, man, I ain't got it. I'm still gonna call you later on, and we're gonna talk about
Hey,
something.
bro, don't scratch your neck when you ask that, bro. When you scratch your neck and you ask that, yeah.
That's that. Look, that's that. Don't give him $4,800.
No, not at all, not at all. Look, I ain't about to give you $5. I go buy you something to eat. Because sometimes you can't give them money. They be like they trying to get some food. You go give them some food, and they get mad. It's like, nah, I give you something to eat, right? So I understand that you can't give everybody the money.
Right.
All I'm saying is, depends on your level of affluence, depends on how much you got to spare. You ought to be able to make a decision on, can you give it and how soon can you give it? And if not, how much they're asking for, how much can you give? Because I hear, rich people always talking about, tax write-offs and charities and this thing, being philanthropic, so this ought to be covered, what I'm saying, under their philanthropic endeavors.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe that's just me. That just sounds like some rich people problems that I ain't got.
yeah, some people know how to utilize it, and they know how to get tax write-offs. They got people in that corner that know how to make that happen. But at the same time, that's something that's benefiting them in the long run. But by them giving you that money, shit, you ain't giving them no tax documents like that. That doesn't require you to report that to the IRS that I just loaned little JoJo by $700-800, and can I get a tax write-off for that $700-800? The IRS trying to figure out what.
I don't know the taxes. I don't know that.
Right, so they trying to figure out what little JoJo done with the $700-800, because as soon as you put anything in your bank over 5,000, that's a hit to the IRS. Now they trying to figure out what you got going on.
That must be why he asked for 4,800.
Right.
So I'm at the stage in my life right now. If I can't help you grow that or teach you a better way to do that, then shame on me. I think because nobody taught me about money, I think I'm obligated So when you
Mhm.
come to me with that $4,800, I'm gonna ask you, what's it for, and you tell me what's it for. Then I'm gonna say, hey, let's multiply that. This is how you're gonna do that.
Right. But ain't nothing wrong with that at all. Trying to make it stretch or double it, like, because
Right.
being, being growing up and being the way things are going. Like, I would try to take that $20 and take it to the casino and get on the dice table or go around the block and try to make it double some kind of way. So that you know in that sense, we all take chances when it comes to that, except the family man, because he don't gamble. But
No, nah. I don't do that. But look, I hustle though. I done sold CDs, I done sold DVDs, I done cooked out my dorm room and sold that.
cheeseburgers off the grill.
Yeah, you already know. Dollar menu put me out of business.
Yes, sir. So I mean, it's like you say, it's ways for people to get money, but everybody can't be as successful as the next man, and everybody don't expect everybody to be rich, and the people that have that mindset on, if I can do it, like Doc said, most of the people that say that, they say that because they already have it, or they've already made that, that jump from being in a position to where you don't have. But try to
Hmm.
back down now to where you don't have, and then tell that next man that, hey, if I can do, you ain't done shit yet.
Right.
You can't tell somebody about something that you ain't done, and you really haven't done anything to be rich. You just was in the right place at the right time, and you got the right deal. So that still doesn't make you that person, to be putting your mouth on somebody else saying, if I can do it, you can do it, in that type of tone. So um, rich people are rich people. Rich people got rich people problems. Like,
Yeah,
ain't
this one of them.
nobody that I know gonna call me and ask me for $4,800. So that
I'm gonna
problem,
think they got the wrong number.
right? Right? Or they drunk or high or something. Like, what? What?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna do a lot of investigating.
Right?
Yeah, like is this such and such number? Is they all right?
Yeah. What kind of drugs they using now?
Right. What's going on with them?
Yeah, but I mean, like, everybody got valid points. I even with that, man, with loaning money and stuff like that. If you gonna do it out the kindness of your heart. Do it if you have it. Um, do it if you have it. Uh, so if with like Jay-Z, you going, or I don't know if he put it out there, or I don't know if the guy that actually asked for the money put it out there. But that's one thing you don't do. Like, you don't go and put people on blast about stuff like that, because it's inhumane in a sense. It's like you trying to show off, or you trying to let people know that you've done this or you've done that. If you're gonna do it and you able to do it and move on. Your blessings come in the form of other things, in the form of you continuing to stay rich, in the form of you continuing to be able to get that same type of money that you are getting. Your blessings not gonna come from if that man pay you them $4,800 back or not. That ain't your blessing. You done already performed your blessing. Your blessing was to bless him. So him giving you that 4,800 back, that's not, you ain't getting no blessing for that. He ain't getting no blessing for that. He just returning the money. Because
Hmm.
it is what it is at that point. You go, you live life, you help people out if you can, you do what you can. If not, you keep it pushing. Like, if you talk about people that borrow money or ask people for money, I guarantee you there's somebody sitting next to you in the other room, at work, around the corner, up the street. Somebody has a borrowed money story that's probably would knock your socks off. You know, But that 4,800 for Jay-Z, people look at that like, man, you're a billionaire. Like, yeah. From the
Yes.
outside looking in, we do say, oh, you're a billionaire. He got it. He
Yeah.
should give it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My issue is specifically with him. Yeah.
Yeah, I know where you coming from with that. You
Yeah,
you
my
should just
issue is specifically him. But and then I get it. He also in the interview when he was talking about it, he was saying, that his cousin told him that he wanted to borrow 4,800 and he was gonna turn it into 2 million, and so that sounded ridiculous to him. So he was like, "Nah, I ain't doing it." But it's like no matter how much he say he gonna make, at least it sounds like he got some kind of plan. If he was going to turn 4,800 into 2 million, I don't know how he was going to do it. And if he would have been successful, I would have needed that same advice. I think Jay-Z would have needed that same advice too if somebody could turn 4,800 into 2 million. Now I don't know what the time frame was that he said, but that's what Jay-Z said. The reason why he turned him down because it was ridiculous to him that he said he was going to take 4,800 and turn it into 2 million. So that was why he turned him down.
yeah.
Now,
Well,
one of the things I don't know what time frame this was. I don't know this was last month or 10 years ago, or you see what I'm saying? So
Right.
I'm not sure, and we need probably some more details regarding that thing. So because you know what business Jay-Z was before he started rapping. So if somebody tell you they're gonna turn 40
Allegedly.
to allegedly 4,800 to 2 million, you might not want to you might not want to dirt up your hands at that point. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. So we don't know the circumstances. He could be talking about a story that happened years ago, or he could have been talking about something that happened last
yeah.
week. We really don't know.
Okay, fellas. Well, look, I appreciate you guys coming on today. You got Average Family Man, you got Dr. Ron Smith
Yeah,
in the
sir.
building. Uh, on the Broke is a Joke show tonight, the SKST Radio. Um, we gonna touch on a little bit more on it on the next time. It's time for us to go ahead and shut this one down and get started with our evening with the families, ladies and gentlemen. So again, Dr. Smith, appreciate you for being on, and just let us know when you want to come back, man. We appreciate your dialogue, man.
All
Yeah,
right.
good talking to you, Doc.
Enjoy chopping it up with you guys.
Yes, sir. SKST Radio, Broke as a Joke. We are out.